Welcome to the Fabulous Fifties and Beyond. I'm Jim Pollard, your co-host with my wife Jeanetta. Today we're going to try to decipher part of all this new information about the new Medicare prescription plan. You stay tuned and we'll be right back.
And he'd say go with what you got. Start from where you are. Give it your best shot. Keep reaching for that star. Get in the race, keep your own pace, keep moving and never stop. Just go, go with what you got.
Our guest today is Krista Williams from Purchase Area Development District. I don't know what your official title is, which one. You have about 3 over there, I think.
We wear a lot of hats.
Crystal is old hat here with us, and we go to talk about this all difficult, best I can say, because I can usually figure stuff out, Crystal, but this new thing is, I've been trying to figure out this new prescription plan, and I haven't got it all figured out yet.
Well, we all have had that trouble. I know all the seniors are real confused, and you know, it makes it really hard. So maybe we can answer a few questions and get them worked out.
Number one, you said the deductible is increased.
Yes, for 06, of course, as you know, I know you said our new drug program, it's actually a year old now, and everybody still keeps calling it the new Medicare program. But I think it's because no one jumped on it last year, so it's still new to them. But last year, the plans ran anywhere from $26 to about $66 a month, and the deductible was $250 deductible with a cap of $22.50 a year. This year, the deductible is $265, so you pay the first $265. Then between $265 and $2,400, they've also increased that gap. So they've made you pay a little more up front, but then they're going to help you for another $150 as well. So the gap is between $265 this year and $2,400. You pay 25%, Medicare pays 75% of prescription costs for that range. Then once you hit $2,400 this year, until you hit $3,800 out of pocket, that's your full max out of pocket, you're paying 100%. So you pay 100% of all retail drugs till you hit that $3,850. Once you hit that, they call it a catastrophic level. And a lot of people hit that. You know, they go into that donut hole by September, October of every year, and then they panicked last year because they went back to paying 100%. Once you reach that $3,850 out of pocket, Medicare pays 95% and you only pay 5%. So it's kind of tiered. You pay a little, you get a little help. You pay a lot, you get a whole lot of help.
Okay. During this past year, I didn't pay anything for a while. Is that still that way?
Probably with the plan you had, and I don't know what your plan was last year, but probably with that plan, that formulary list, those drugs may have been free drugs.
Okay.
They
were all formulary. Yeah, there was some I did have to pay for, like stuff for my eye and stuff
Several
like that.
of the plans had free generics.
Okay.
If you were on one of those plans, that's probably why you didn't pay anything for those drugs. And then you should have been paying 25% of retail up until that $2,400 or $2,250 last year.
Yeah.
So this year it's $2,400. But the premiums have gone up as well too. You know, last year I think the cheapest plan was $12.20 or something.
Which is what she had.
I had, because
and I had a $26 plan or something.
Yeah, and this year the cheapest one is $17.70, I think. So it's still pretty reasonable. You know, less than $20 a month coverage. You know, to have, but it did go up.
Go ahead.
The cheapest one is what I took out because I am on no medication at all.
That's right.
Now, thank the Lord, you know.
Well, it's like I've said before, it's insurance. You know, it's just like home or auto.
Right.
You don't wait for something to happen and then say, boy, I wish I'd had help.
But if you get this minimum one, even though you're not on anything now, it will help you if something
With just the very basic, the $17 plan, you've got $2,400 of help. You know, that you're paying 25% and they're going to pay 70%.
Okay, Crystal, here's the big question. The $4 plan.
The $4 plan, we won't call the name of the company, everyone knows, but it is effective in Kentucky now. And what that is, of course, a local pharmacy is $4 for all generics.
You mean no matter what it is?
Well,
as long
that's
as
the
it's
second
generic?
big question. No, it's a limited list of generics.
Oh, okay.
Whenever I started calling around and asking at that time, and this has been 2 weeks ago, there were 331 generics on that list. And my concern is, what if you take that 332nd drug, you know, that's not on that list, that generic? You're still going to pay the generic cost, not $4. And that list changes weekly. So before you commit and say, oh, I can get all my generics, there, check that list, because that can change week to week. And how that's affecting Part D, I was meeting with a couple the day that the $4 generics went into effect, and he had 7 prescriptions, 4 of them were generics. So that totally adjusted which plan is going to be best for him, because we were looking at all 7 drugs, finding a plan that had a formulary that covered all 7. And it picked us 3 plans. Here's the top 3 plans. Well, when we took off the 4 generics, it changed the top 3 plans. So, it's really as broad as it is as long, you pay the $4 for the generic, or you pay for a Part D plan where the generics are free, but it's a $27 a month plan. So you'd have to have 7 generics for it to pay off.
All right, so the $4 plan is $27 a month?
No. You're talking about
Okay.
the all generics?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's no cost to that.
There's no monthly
There's
cost
no
to
monthly
that?
cost to that. It's at this store, all generics on that list are $4. No income guidelines, no age guidelines, no anything. Where I see that's going to benefit is low income or single income families, single parents who have children on antibiotics, that they can go get that antibiotic for $4.
People that are not on Medicare.
Right. Yes,
So this is for anybody.
This is for anybody.
That's great. I mean, that's really
But it's
good.
affecting seniors on Medicare in selecting the best Part D plan, because if you can get your generics,
$4.
for $4, how does that affect what plan I can get where my generics are covered as well?
And then that puts another big question mark up in there. What do I do, or do I do?
Yeah.
Because like she said, she doesn't take anything.
Yeah.
So we might be well just to drop her off.
Drop
and-
her Part D and hope that everything you take or can take is a generic.
Well, because the plan, even at mine, when I was paying $26, my blood pressure was generic, and my pain pills were generic, and so I wasn't having to pay for them. But I had to pay for everything else that had to do with my eyes and stuff like that, and it wasn't cheap. I mean, a little bitty bottle was $50-something.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of that stuff, the eye drops and ointments and creams, there aren't generics for.
Right.
No, there weren't. I mean,
You
this
know,
was what we
that's-
found out.
And a lot of people don't want to take generics. They don't think they're as potent. They're just generic.
Yeah.
Other people can't take generics. For whatever reason, there's reactions or side effects to generics that the name brand isn't. So it's really just a guessing game. Of kind of mixing and playing with some numbers.
Kinda
where you
rolling
can
the dice, in other words.
where you can save. And I'm glad that the generic program has come out in plenty of time for seniors to evaluate that before having to select them a plan.
Because we have till the end of December, don't we?
December 31st.
what I thought.
November 15th through December 31st is initial enrollment. Each year will be the Part D enrollment time. And that's so it is effective January 1 of the following year. And this will be open every year. Every year you'll have the chance to reevaluate your list of drugs, decide if the plan you're on is good and you want to stay with it, or if you want to make changes. But had they not enlisted this $4 generic till mid-January or February,
Yeah.
it'd have been too late. At that point, you're locked into your plan.
So there's actually no minimum, no maximum on the $4 plan.
As long as it's a drug that's on that list, and like I said, the list changes. And my concern on that is what if they find a drug that seniors take a lot of,
Yeah.
it's a popular drug, and then come January or February, they pull it off that list,
Yeah.
and no longer have it for $4, and they've become accustomed to paying the $4, don't have
Yeah.
another option. But then the flip side of that is, what if they pick up some new drugs,
Yeah.
that you haven't had on that list, and you've bought this plan to cover those drugs that now you can get for $4?
Well, now,
It's,
when they figure, like, when I started taking my medicine and started getting it through the plan, and it was quote unquote free, which is a oxymoron.
yeah,
I mean, because I'm paying monthly to get it free.
right.
That's what I tell them. And the thing about that is, are these numbers? Where do they get the amount to total up these numbers? Is it what the generic cost would be if I wasn't in that plan? Like if they charge me $16 or $20 or $25 and take that off of my plan?
You talking about your premium cost? Or the
Yeah,
cost
because
of
I get a statement. I get a statement, and it says this month you got X dollars worth of medicine. which takes it off of your $250 or $300. And at a certain point, I have to start paying 100%. Is that off of their regular generic price? Is where they put that figure in?
I would think that would be at full price, at full retail price, is how they calculate your total out of pocket.
Yeah.
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 They call it TROOP, which is true out of pocket expense or something.
Yeah.
And that's the full retail price. You pay 25%, Medicare pays 75% of the true retail price. Now, how those generics factor in, you know, like I said, a lot of those formularies, the generics are free.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know on how they calculate or how can they afford to do that. But like I said, you're paying the $27 a month premium to be able to get these particular list of drugs for free.
All right, we're going to take a break.
All right.
I'm confused, really confused. So we're going to take a break, and Jeanetta and Pam are going to go talk about proper eating habits and food. So you stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
We welcome back Pam Ward today. Pam is a registered dietitian at Western Baptist Hospital, and she's going to share with us some tidbits that we need to know about the holidays and our eating habits and our cooking habits and all these different things.
All those good things. Well, today we're going to talk, I don't know about you, but I get really stressed during the holidays. I'm trying to work, I'm trying to get all my gifts purchased, I'm trying to get all my food done, I'm trying to get my house decorated, and it's honestly a pretty stressful time of year. And so I want to talk a little bit about, now I'm not saying that your diet causes you to be stressed or that it's a miracle cure for stress, but there are some things you can do diet-wise to help ease the stress, the physical effect of the stress on your body.
And you know, it really shouldn't be that way.
It shouldn't,
But it is. I know what you're saying,
we put
but
too
it
much
is.
pressure on ourselves. I think that
Right.
everything's got to be just so. And you know, if we'd ease up a little on ourselves, we might not have some of the negative physical effects, you know, we get from stress. Not sleeping, headaches, you know, being tired, all those good things. But there are a few things, like I said, we can do nutritionally to
help
help
us.
the situation. Now, I guess it's as good a way as anything to
Right.
help the situation. You know, one of the big ones is to curb your coffee intake. You know, a lot of people, again, as they get stressed out, they tend to sleep less. It's harder for them to get to sleep. And the caffeine in the coffee is just going to interfere with it. Now, I realize there are other caffeine-containing drinks, and you may need to watch those if you drink a great deal of them. But coffee is the highest in caffeine. So one of the very first things you can do, you know, if you catch yourself just that run down, tired, it's getting to be too much, look at how much coffee you're drinking. You may need to cut back on it. Another thing you can do is often people drink more during the holidays. You know, they go to cocktail parties or they go to work parties and there's a bar or whatever it may be. They drink more alcohol than they normally would, and they need to limit their alcohol. Occasional drink is, you know, not a problem, but alcohol actually suppresses the REM cycle of sleep. So alcohol actually interferes with sleep. And again, you know, when your body's stressed out, you need your rest. And so by drinking that alcohol and interfering with your sleep, you're just aggravating the situation.
Well, sleep is so important. I mean, it
is.
really is.
And very few adults get 8 hours of sleep a night. Very few. You know, for whatever reason, we're too busy, our children don't sleep, you know, whatever it may be, but very few of us get enough sleep.
And they say that is so important to your health, is getting 8 hours. Isn't that what we're supposed to
8
have?
hours. And, you know, it differs a little for some people, but 8 hours is pretty much the norm. I know if I get much less than that, I've been told I get a little cranky.
Grouchy.
A little grouchy, yeah. But, you know, if we're going to cut back on the coffee and we're going to cut back on the alcohol to take its place, or just in general, you need to increase your water intake. You know, that old adage, 8 glasses a day, really is a good rule to live by. It keeps your body hydrated. A lot of times, too, when we're stressed out, it sounds silly, but we sweat more. You know, we're tense and we sweat more. So by getting that extra hydration, that extra fluid in your body, you help alleviate that. If we don't get that little bit of dehydration, you know, we keep ourselves hydrated. And we also could snack on the right carbs. You know, we tend to grab, especially during the holidays, it's sweet. You know, we grab something sweet. Somebody's made fudge. Someone's made, my weakness, brownies, whatever it may be. And those kind of foods may make you feel better for a short time, but your blood sugar then is going to bottom out, and you're going to feel worse. You're going to feel more tired, you know, draggy, all those things. So snack on carbs, but snack on, you know, whole grain crackers, cereals, even the little cereal bars, if you like those, the snack bars, those are all better options. That carbohydrate is going to have a slower release, so it's going to keep your blood sugar levels more level, so you're going to feel better.
Even those little squares of cereal, I sometimes like to
And that's
like to eat.
that's not a bad snack. You know, it's a much better choice than to grab some fudge or
brownies.
I don't know if anything's a better
well,
choice than brownies.
Right. Well, yes, I agree. I love brownies too. I could eat them.
But you know,
eat the whole
pan. Yeah. But you know, all joking aside, those high fiber, low simple sugar carbs are going to be just a much better option.
Right.
All the time, you know, but especially during those stressed out periods, they're better choices. And another good thing about those is they're going to be higher in fiber, and it's been proven that the fiber helps basically again regulate your blood sugar because it slows down the absorption of things. So plenty of fruits, plenty of vegetables, you know, the things that are higher in fiber are going to be good things for you to do.
Of course, these are things that are good all the year.
They are.
But we just can tend to really overdo it at Christmas
We get so
time
caught up in
with
everything that
all the sweets.
a
and
lot
everything.
of times us, you know, we're the last thing we look at, and we've got to take care of ourselves a little bit too. And that's the last thing I would probably tell you is most of us, myself included, need to take a multivitamin. You know, if you don't eat just a really well-balanced diet, take a multivitamin. That way, you know, you're going to cover some of those vitamins, some of those minerals you miss. Now, I'm not saying a multivitamin is a substitute for a healthy diet,
Right.
but for those of us that don't always get one, a multivitamin is a good idea.
And it doesn't hurt you at all. I mean, there's no way it would hurt you.
No, absolutely
it's just,
not.
And it's just a precaution to make sure that you're getting
The things
what
you
you need.
Now, I would caution people from taking a B complex vitamin, adding all these things with it, because some, especially your fat soluble vitamins, some things you can get too much of, but just a good multivitamin is just a good idea.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us, Pam, and we'll look forward to visiting with you again next week.
I'll be here.
Welcome back. Our guest today is Krista Williams from Purchase Area Development Office. We're talking about the new Medicare prescription plan, and like she said, it's not new, but it's the second year, and it's new to me because it's all confusing again, and it's all different. It's similar but different, I guess, right?
It's not all different, is it?
No,
That's what I thought.
No. The idea is the same, just the amounts and the figures have changed.
And I told Jeanetta, as I was putting literature together to come over here, I said, it's got to be profitable or all these companies wouldn't be sending us all the information. Don't talk about they're not making money off of it, you know.
Well, and as I was telling you, last year there were 43 plans, this year there's 54. So 11 companies said, this must be a pretty good deal.
Yeah, they want to get in too.
They wanted in on it, so.
You know, one thing I thought when this first started last year was that if you had a ARP, then you had to have their drug plan, but this is not true. You can have the drug plan with any
Drug plan of
company,
your choice.
regardless of who you're.
Medicare supplement is with.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, your Medicare supplement, and this is totally separate.
Right.
So you could have Blue Cross Blue Shield supplement and an AARP Part D plan.
Right.
Just really whichever one gives you the best deal with the best formulary list. And that's the whole thing. It's so individualized. Your plan could be totally different than his, and a lot of spouses say, "Oh, I want the same one." Well, it's so individualized by your
Right.
list of prescriptions that may not be the best option.
All right, where can they get help?
If you need assistance in finding out what's the best plan for you, that's what you're looking for, without having to call 53 companies and say, "Here's my list of drugs. How can you help me?" There's a couple of different options. They can call 1-800-MEDICARE, and they're open 24 hours, 7 days a week. So if you can't sleep at 3 in the morning,
Call
go call
'em.
Medicare.
Call
The
'em.
lines are going to be
I
open.
could call them some days.
The other option and the best tool is to go to Medicare's website, and that's www.medicare.gov. A lot of seniors don't have computers, don't feel
Right.
comfortable using that, so get a family member or grandkid or something. A lot of the local churches have computer labs now. You know, the senior citizen centers and all the counties have computer labs. Someone there can assist them with that. But when you go on there, you can click on a tool, plan comparison tool. You put in your Medicare number and your list of drugs, and what it does is it compiles and calculates, and it says, here's your top 3 plans. So then you can see a side by side of the top 3, your yearly spending, your premium, your deductible, your copays, all that information. And then side by side can start eliminating, well, this plan's going to cost me a little more, or this one doesn't cover this drug. Let's mark that one out. So it puts them in order of 1 to 54. You know, it keeps you from having to even consider, 40 other plans. Look at the top 3 or 4 and then, decide on that. And you mentioned the AARP. A lot of people have supplement plans with AARP or Blue Cross Blue Shield. They want their Part D plan. I don't care what it's going to cost you. May not be the cheapest plan, but they appreciate and respect the name, and
Right.
that means a lot, the company. But once you get that printout, then you can see side by side. You can go online and enroll, or you can call the company direct to enroll. And something I might mention, since this is a second year, they're asking them for seniors to do a prescription drug checkup. Check your current plan. See if the formulary is the same. See if the premiums are the same. Look at your current policy. If you're happy with it, you don't have to do a thing. You don't have to disenroll and re-enroll for 07. You just stay right with them.
So you'll just be set. If you don't want to change.
If you don't want to change and you're happy, you don't do a thing.
All right, what if you want to change to the lower plan?
If you do want to make a change in your plan, you have till December 31st to do that. And what will happen is when you enroll with a new plan, they will disenroll you out of the old plan. They will contact your old plan and
Even
drop
if it's
you.
the same company?
Well, basically, if it's the same company, then they'll just change the level,
Okay.
the level of coverage. They say December 31st. Last week on a teleconference, they're urging you by December 8th. That's really the true deadline, because that gives the company 2 weeks to get your card to you. If you wait till December 31st, you're not going to have a drug card in hand January 1. So you could go a couple of weeks in January without, you'd have coverage, you just wouldn't have the material.
Wouldn't have the card.
And that just keeps you from having a lapse of coverage. And of course, with the holidays, that last week of December, what a poor time, to have as a deadline. Seniors have families in, and they're wanting to cook, and they're not wanting to talk about drug plans, you know.
Yes.
So December 8th is kind of the target date that companies are saying, if you get us enrollment by then, we'll have your card in hand by January 1. But you still have till December 31st to make your final decision. But December 8th is kind of a target enrollment date.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
That
you
gives
say,
them a
with
couple of weeks.
everything you got going on in December.
Yes.
You were talking about some of the other aspects of the program that we were talking
Yeah, we haven't mentioned for like low income people. I know everybody hears these premiums of $17 to $88 a month, and they panic. If you have low income, and for a single, that's $14,700 a year, and for a couple, $19,800 a year. If you're under those amounts, you're eligible for what they call subsidy or extra help, and Medicare will pay your premium for you. And they would just need to contact the Social Security office for that application. It's just a 1 or 2 page application. They'll get that processed, and then they'll get them a letter that says, we'll pay your premium, and then they have low copays of like $3 to $5 for their prescriptions. So anybody is eligible for a Medicare Part D card as long as you have Medicare. It's not income based, it's just your income determines if you can get extra help or if you're going to be responsible for your premium. And I think we jumped around a while ago talking about extra, where to get the help. If they don't use the computer, they can call my office. We'll do all that for them. We can either do it over the phone or
That's
they can
what I was
mail
wanting
me.
you to say. They can call your office.
They can call my office. Yep. You can call my office. Medicare is looking at the same computer screen that I'm looking at,
Yeah.
that they can either do on their own, or they have the 1-800-Medicare or my office that can do it for them. They will print that form for them, mail it to them, or if they come in the office, they can look at it right there and kind of talk and walk it through.
That don't mean they go get
But-
you, though.
Well, they will get me.
Now?
They will get me, but I may forward them on to somebody.
Okay.
I take the initial first call, and then I have volunteers in the office that are helping do all the input in the computer.
Yeah. Well, it's, again, I know that I'm pretty savvy on some of this, having sold insurance, and for somebody that has no experience at all, it's got to be totally confusing to them.
Oh, yeah.
But this has to really be a lifesaver for some people who are, I mean, some of this medicine is just out of sight.
You know, as I was telling you too, in a group of 100 people, 75 of them who have the plan are thrilled to death. They couldn't be any happier. You know, 75% of seniors are going to love it. 25% wish they'd never done it. You know, they're still confused. They don't know. But I think it's worth educating yourself. You know, if it can save you money, it's worth looking into.
That's right.
And you know, $5 a month may not be a big deal to somebody. You know, but $500 a month could be. I mean, you know, it ranges anywhere from $5 to $100. And over the course of a year, you know, you could be looking at thousands of dollars that you're saving. So, you know, it's definitely worth looking into. If it's my office, if it's your pharmacist, and the pharmacies are all really good about sitting down and doing the same thing with you. You know, look to help. Find some help and make sure you understand it before you make a commitment.
Well, is there only one $4 plan, or is there another one that's coming that way?
That's the only one that I know of locally right now.
Okay.
There's a couple in other states, competitors, you know, that are getting in on the deal. But that's the only one I'm.
Yeah, because I heard one of the major drug chains was thinking about doing it too. Yeah.
And it really concerns me for the little, I call them mom and pop pharmacies.
Right.
You know, who can't compete with the big dogs.
Yeah.
And, you know, if they've got 8 prescriptions and 4 of them are generics, they're going to take their other 4 when they go fill their generics.
Yep.
That's right.
And that's what I really hate. But, you know, a lot of these local mom and pop pharmacies also deliver.
Yeah.
You know, where seniors need the deliveries. You know, they've been there for years with them. They trust them. They know them. They go to church with
Right.
them. So, but that's the group of people that really concern me, are the little pharmacies.
But whatever program you get into now, you're stuck with it till next
Till next
December.
November 15th.
November.
Well, for the whole year.
what
The
I
only
thought.
reason, there are some reasons you can get out, you know, if the company obviously bankrupts or goes out.
Oh, right.
You have an option of changing mid-year.
Right.
If you move, you know, go to Florida or somewhere, and that card is not good, the pharmacies in that area don't accept that plan,
Then you can
that's a
change.
reason to change. But just because you're not happy or your drug list has
Just
changed.
because you got more medicine than you thought. And
Yeah, you would
So-
just need to reevaluate
So,
next year.
so these are what I would say state certain cards. They're good
Mm-hmm.
in that your state.
Well, the premium is set by each state. The
Okay.
premiums are different in each state. So, you know, your card here may be different in Florida. The reason I think that has come up, the premium change, is they take it on a per capita of seniors, how many Medicare beneficiaries are in that area, and that's how they can prorate and price change the premiums, if there's a larger population than a smaller.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I said, I definitely think it's worth looking into. You know, if you're paying full price for retail drugs, there are other options.
Well, Crystal, we thank you again for being with us and working on explaining this out for us. And again, we can encourage you to call her office.
Yeah, and I don't think we ever give that number.
I bet we've got it up on the screen though.
Okay.
So we put that up ahead of time.
All
We
right.
thank you for being with us. We encourage you to watch our show each and every week. You can reach us by the web, thefabulousfifties.net, 50 spelled out, or you can write to us. Jeanetta, give 'em our address.
P.O. Box 7, Bowes, Kentucky 42027.
Remember now, use it or lose it.